Today I am in a layby on the A90, a couple of miles south of Peterhead, and the plan is to walk up Stirling Hill, which is just over there, and do a sneaky stealth camp in one of the blast shelters at the top. I'll tell you a little bit more about it when we get up there. But first things first, let's get away from this road. So this is the blast shelter that I'm planning on bivvying in tonight. I've not got a tent, I've not got a bivvy bag, but forecast is for fairly stable weather and quite a mild night, so I think I should be okay. Now, it's a very, very busy dog walking area, so like most stealth camps, I'm gonna leave it till it gets dark before I lay my sleeping kit out, and I'm just gonna be away early in the morning as well. There's a bit of rubbish in there. There's been people here before me and I've left rubbish in there, so I have got a brush and a dustpan with me, so I'm going to clean the hut up first before I do anything. So I think I'm going to get on and do that now. Well, there we go. The bath is a bit cleaner now. All the empty bottles and bits of paper and wrappers and that are all bagged up, and I'll pick up all the stuff on the way down the hill as well. I've done round the hut, picked up bottles and dog poo bags and all the rubbish that people drop behind, and I'll have a clean on the way out. Well, the hut is, it's about 6.5 foot by about 3 foot wide. I've got a bench that I'm sitting on. I'm not sure if it's going to be wide enough to sleep on. I may fall off it in the night, but now I've cleaned the floor. I've got a very small, I can't really call it a tarp, a small ground sheet in my bag that I can lay on the floor in my sleeping bag, and I've got my air mattress as well. So I should be pretty comfortable in here. So I think what I'll do is I will go over there and I will tell you why I'm here. In the 19th century, this coast was plagued with shipwrecks. It got so bad that the Admiralty went to the government and asked them to do something about it. Now, the government had a think and they came up with a plan. And the plan was that somewhere on the east coast of Scotland, they needed to build a harbour of refuge. And the somewhere they chose was Peterhead. Now, their plan was that they would get convicts to quarry granite here on Stirling Hill and build 2 massive breakwaters and also dig out a 300-acre harbour. Now, the Admiralty opened up 2 or 3 quarries up here on Stirling Hill, and in 1888, when Peterhead Prison opened, prisoners were ferried on a purpose-built railway from the prison to the quarries, where they would work all day breaking rocks with sledgehammers under the guard of armed guards with loaded rifles. Now, when the rocks were broken up, they were transported back to the prison, where in big work sheds they were mixed with concrete to make massive building blocks that were then taken to the breakwaters and were used to make the breakwaters. Now, the quarries worked for a long time up here, and over those years there were a number of escape attempts, but in the 1930s one guy did manage to escape and was shot dead by prison guards. Now in 1949, the new Criminal Justice Act abolished the use of hard labour, and at that point the convicts were no longer used for breaking the rocks, and they had to use civilians. Some prisoners were used, but they were paid for their work. So the kind of forced labour ended in 1949. Now in 1956, the harbour was finally finished. That's 70 years after it was started, and it is still a harbour of refuge. You can still come into Peterhead Bay and anchor up free of charge for refuge. Now it's also a bustling commercial port, and is a busy fishing port as well. I hope you found that interesting. It's an unusual bit of history specific to this hill and the town that I live in. Now tonight I'm going to be sleeping in a blast shelter, which is just over there. It's only a little thing, and it was built for the quarrymen to shelter in when they were setting off their charges to blow massive holes in the ground like the one behind me, which again I think is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over there and I'm going to set up and have a brew. So I'll see you in a minute. Well, it's 10 to 9, and that, if you can see it behind me, is the sun just dipping down below the horizon. Now the forecaster said it was going to be 9 degrees tonight, which is pretty balmy for this time of year here, and a clear sky, and it is, well, definitely not a clear sky, and it is definitely not 9 degrees. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that I have put on my down jacket, and I think I'm going to need it. Thankfully I did bring my 4-season bag with me because I didn't trust the forecasters. So well, we've had a few dog walkers who just think I'm a strange bloke sitting in a stone hut on the top of the hill, and when it goes completely dark I think I am going to get my noodles on. And tonight I have got some tom yum noodles, some Chinese noodles soup, which I'm looking forward to because I've not had it before. And hopefully it's not going to be as raw and fiery hot as the crazy ones I had when I was in the forest, but I don't think so. They look like, well, they look like tom yum noodles, so I'll bring you back when I've got the water boiled and we've done that. Okay, it's pretty much dark now, so I'm going to get the noodles on, and that's what I've got tonight. It's Kalo brand, oops, see if I can get that so the light's not shining on it, Kalo brand tom yum soup flavoured noodles. 120 gram pot, quite a big pot, so should be good. And tonight I'm using my ultra lightweight setup. I've spoiled myself and I've bought myself a Tokes titanium 750 millilitre pot. It weighs about 80 grams, so significantly lighter than my stainless steel pot that I used to use. And inside it is stowed my little titanium fire maple stove, a lighter, and it's designed so it'll take 100 gram gas canister. So I'll get that all set up, I'll get the water boiled. You don't need to watch me boiling water, and I'll bring you back when the noodles have had the water sitting in them for the requisite time. So I'll bring you back then. So it's all cooked, and I thought I'd made a schoolboy error when I unpacked my bag and realised I'd only got a spoon, and the thought of eating noodles with a spoon, oh yeah, not good fun. But when I opened up the tom yum soup, there was dried vegetables, there was seasoning, there was a paste like that, like the hot one. I hope it's not the same, but there was also, look at that, a little natty folding fork. So karma's good to me tonight. I do have a fork, and I've made it up, and it's a blooming big pot. It took half a litre of water, 500 mils of water, couldn't believe it. And it really does smell like tom yum soup. If you've ever had tom yum soup in a Chinese restaurant, it smells just like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. But definitely, it's a very wet one. I'm definitely not going to eat this in front of you. I wouldn't subject anyone to that. So what I'll do is I will scoff this and I'll come back to you and give you my verdict when I'm done. So I'll come back to you when I've ate it. Well, that's the noodles done. Kalo brand tom yum soup noodles, and they were really good. And I mean, tom yum soup's meant to be kind of hot and sour, and that was very hot and sour. I think, you know, if I'd have made it again, I'd have probably put a fraction less of the paste in, because the flavour was very intense. But unlike the Inferno noodles I had back in the forest, this wasn't raw or brutal. It was quite sophisticated. It had a lot of flavour, very complex and very tasty. It was just pretty intense. The soup was right in your face, but it was nice, very good, and you know, absolutely extra bonus points for coming with a fork, because that would have been hard work to have eaten with a spoon. There was a lot of noodles in it. It was a big bowl, like I say, took half a litre of water. And I didn't put any extra protein in it, and I'm glad I didn't, because it was a belly full of food on its own. It had a good amount of dried veg in there. It had like a chicken base that went in first, and then you had the paste once it had sat with the water on the noodles for 5 minutes. So all in all, pretty darn good. I would recommend that, and I may well have it again. Although Chinese noodles are not my favoured ones. I like the Korean noodles, but I make an exception for this. This was pretty good. So there you go. Kalo brand tom yum soup noodles. So that's pretty cool. So it's absolutely pitch black now outside, and I've decided that there's no way I'm going to be able to sleep on this bench. It's just it's too narrow. But I also think I'll end up rolling onto this granite wall and getting really cold in the night. So I'm gonna, when I'm ready for bed, I'm going to lay my tarp or my little kind of ground sheet out on the floor, put my sleeping bag down and doss on the floor. I've got an air mattress with me as well, so that'll insulate me from the cold floor. And all in all, I think I'll be a bit better. And, you know, it's better than freezing cold wall and rolling off in the night and banging my head on the floor. So I think I'm going to sleep down there. So, and the floor's clean because I swept it earlier. So that's cool. So I'm going to kick back. I'm going to get myself a coffee now. I'm going to kick back and listen to my book, my Rebus book, and I'll bring back the camera when I'm ready to go at my kit. Yeah, I was stumbling a bit over my words there, wasn't I? Well, that's me all set up for bed. It's 10:30. I was expecting to do a bit of star photography tonight. I even bought my big SLR camera with me, but it's completely cloudy all the way down to the horizon, so now there's not going to be a chance of any stars out tonight, so I'm just going to hit the hay, I think. I'll show you the setup I've got, nothing sophisticated. So there we go. This is just a tarp folded in half. I've got a 3-season bag. I thought I'd got a 4 with me, and a air mattress, and so I've got a tarp, a 2x2 tarp folded in half. I've got my 3-4-season air mattress, 3-season bag, and then tarp over the top as well. And I've got my Shangri-La pillow in a pillowcase with a Trekology inflatable one underneath, just to raise the height up. So I should be all right. And the tarp, I'll probably sleep with the tarp pulled to the one side, and it's just there in case the wind direction changes or we get any rain in the night and it starts blowing in. That way I can cover my bag. My sleeping bag's a down bag. I don't want to get wet, so the tarp's just there to throw over the top if I need it. So I'm going to maybe listen to my book a little bit longer and then hit the sack. So I'll see you in the morning. See you in the morning. Well, good morning everybody. Solid night's sleep. It was still, it was dry, no rain, so all good. It's 5 o'clock, the sun is up, and it's time to get up and
get packed up before the dog walkers come along, and get a quick brew and head home. And, well, I guess I'll have McDonald's for breakfast, as I've got to drive past the McDonald's. So, yeah, I think that's the plan. Get up, get a brew, and then get on the road and get a Mackie D's. And I'll see you when I get home, and I'll do a wash up on the trip. So I'll see you in a bit. So that's me all packed up. Place is left cleaner than I found it, and I'm leaving with a big bag of other people's rubbish. So as ever, leave no trace. So I'm going to head back to the van, get a Mackie D's, and I'll do a wash up when I get home. So I'll see you back at home.
Well, that's me back home. Didn't manage to get that McDonald's after all. Turns out they're not 24 hours, and I didn't feel like waiting until 6 o'clock for them to open. So I got home and got myself some good coffee instead. Well, a great camp. The hut is an unusual place to camp the night, and the quarries are quite an atmospheric spot, so thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a bit colder than they forecast. It dropped down to about 4 degrees, but I was toasty warm with my sleeping bag and my down jacket, so all was good. Really enjoyed the noodles as well. Tom Yum noodles, yeah, they were a winner. I'll have them again. And it was just a great night out, so I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a comment down below and give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, click the subscribe button. It all helps the YouTube algorithm to find my channel and promote it to other people. Thanks. So until the next one, I'll say ta-da. Ta-da a bit. Ta-da.